ونستعين ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. From the book of منهج السالكين وتوضيح الفقه في الدين, we reached the chapter of صلاة الجماعة والإمامة. The chapter of صلاة الجماعة, the congregation صلاة, and the imamah, the position of the imam and the ruling that has to do with the صلاة in jama'ah and the ruling of the imam and so on. The first of all, what is صلاة الجماعة? Is basically people praying not alone but together. And the salah, either a person would pray the salah munfaridan, alone, or in jama'ah. And there are rulings that makes it different, some differences when people will pray in jama'ah than that when they pray alone. And that's why there's imam and ma'moom. When a person is praying alone, he's only one person. But in jama'ah, the imam is different than the ma'moom in some of the rulings, and that's why it's a separate chapter. He says, first مسألة وهي فرض عين للصلوات الخمس على الرجال حضرا وسفرا. وهي means صلاة الجماعة فرض عين. فرض obligatory, عين means for every single individual. Because the فرض either فرض عين or فرض كفاية. فرض عين is for each person, mandatory for every person. فرض كفاية, kifaya means with meaning of sufficiency or something like that. That means if a group of people would do it, then it's sufficient for everyone else. But if nobody would do it, then everybody would fall into the sin because somebody has to do it. So Salatul Jama'ah here says that it's فرض عين. It's mandatory for every single person. The Salawat al-Khams, for the 5 Salat, obligatory Salat, على الرجال. So it's فرض عين على الرجال, only on men, حضرا وسفرا, whether they are not traveling, حضرا, or سفرا if they are traveling. Salatul Jama'ah, again this is the opinion, and it's not just an opinion, but this is the jumhur of the ulama are in this opinion, right? And there's no difference between traveler and not traveler, right? Unless a person is not able to find anyone, or unless a person misses Salatul Jama'ah. And what is meant here by Salatul Jama'ah different than the issue of praying in the masjid. This is something else. So a person, if he's a traveler, he doesn't have to pray in the masjid if he's on the way, for example. But if there are a group of people, and that's why it's always recommended for someone to pray, to travel in a group, then they would pray Jama'ah while they're traveling. It doesn't have to be in the masjid. But for those who are close to the masjid, this is another mas'ala. They have to pray Salatul Jama'ah in the masjid, as the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. And first he mentioned the evidence here, كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, as the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, لقد هممت أن آمر بالصلاة فتقام. لقد هممت, that means I was, what's the precise word for al-ham? Meaning that he's about to do something, that he intended to do something, he was about to do it. One of the levels that comes before, when a person have an action, physical action, comes before it the level of al-azm, right, that a person made a decision. Comes before al-azm is the ham, right? You're about to do something, right, but you're hesitant. Should I do it or should I not do it? Once you make the azm, you made a decision, then this azm is an action, even if you didn't do the act. And you will be responsible whether it's halal or haram. That's why if a person made a decision that he would commit a sin, right? It's not a thought, no, he made the decision, it's finished. Right? He didn't do it yet, and he is starting to take the means to do it, but something happened, he was not able to do the sin. He has to repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even though he didn't do the sin. A thief going to steal, but they arrested him. Right? He didn't steal, he didn't do anything. Right? He still has to repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because he had made the decision. But the level of al-ham, which comes before that, a thought comes in, whisper from the shaitan, do this sin. So the nafs would have this going on, shadd wa jadd, right? Pulling this way and pulling that way. And sometimes it's more into the side of doing the sin. So this is the ham. But then he would leave it for the sake of Allah, out of the fear of Allah. He gets a reward for this. As the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, the famous hadith, إِذَا هَمَّ أَحْدُكُمْ بِحَسَنَةٍ. If any one of you have the hem of the hasana, that means he's about to he made not the decision to make a hasana, just the thought that takes him to the level just before he makes a decision. And he's more likely, more inclining towards committing or doing a good deed, it will be written for him a good deed. Right? If he has the intention to do a bad deed, and he didn't do it out of the fear of Allah, that's written for the person as a good deed. If he have the hammer to do the good deed, and he do the good deed, then it's written 10 rewards and multiplication more than that. So this is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the level of al-ham, right? So the Prophet said, لَقَدْ هَمَمْتُ, that he did not make the decision, but he was inclined to do this. And amura bis-salah, فَتُقَامْ, that I would order for the salah to be established, إقامة, ثُمَّ آمُرَ رَجُلًا يَأُمُّ النَّاسِ. So I would order a man to lead the people in the salah, and not the Prophet ثُمَّ أَنْطَلِقُ بِرِجَالٍ. So I would then go, leave with men, بِرِجَالٍ مَعَهُمْ حِزَمٌ مِنْ حَطَبٍ. With men they have حِزَم, stacks of wood, right? إِلَى قَوْمٍ لَا يَشْهَدُونَ الصَّلَاةِ. To the people, those who do not witness the salah in jama'ah. فَأُحَرِّقَ عَلَيْهِمْ بُيُوتَهُمْ بِالنَّارِ. And I would burn their houses on them with the fire. And this hadith is muttafaqun alayh, in Bukhari and Muslim. The Prophet ﷺ, of course, didn't do that, right? But you see from the context of the hadith, right? Is Salatul Jama'ah then something optional? That the Prophet ﷺ would want to do something like this, but of course, in some narrations, لَوْلَا النِّسَاءُ وَالْأَطْفَالِ, if it wasn't for the women and the children, because not everybody, Salatul Jama'ah is mandatory for them. And the hadith in itself is a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it shows the mercy in the Prophet ﷺ and the concern to his ummah. That if a person leaves this, that means he subjects himself to the fire in the hereafter, because this is something that was mandatory for them to do. And also, the life of the Prophet ﷺ, he never prayed fard salah alone like this, right? Except there is some narrations, unless he, of course, he's sick, but the excuses for leaving Salatul Jama'ah, being sick, or fear, some real fear of something, and rain, right? These are the excuses that a person can stay at home and pray at home, and if he's at home, he should take all the means to pray Jama'ah. So Jama'ah is still to be established if he's at home. If he misses the Salah in the masjid, still to pray Jama'ah at home. If he can't find anyone, then in that case he prays alone, or he's traveling or in a place. Salah time comes, nobody, then he should pray alone anyway. And by the will of Allah, he will get the rewards of it. But the point here that this is something, as you see, very important. And when people you would find some of the opinions, they say that it's only stressed sunnah and this and that. You look at the life of the Prophet ﷺ. First the hadith and the actions of the Prophet ﷺ. There is one sound hadith which comes into a later mas'ala about tikrar al-jama'at, repeating the jama'ah, right, in the same place. Is it something recommended? The first jama'ah is finished, and then another jama'ah comes in and make another jama'ah, as we all see. Some of the ulama, or actually most of the ulama, they say this is not a very good thing, it's not recommended. And some, they forbade it totally. Why? Because there is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and it's a sound hadith, it's a Hasan hadith, where the Prophet ﷺ, he came late for the salah. He was somewhere, and he came and he found that people finished the salah. The Prophet ﷺ, فَمَالَ إِلَى بَيْتِهِ, أو to his house. So the Prophet ﷺ went to his house, and he prayed there, so that he does not make the salah after the people finish the salah in the masjid, right? And Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu, he said that the Sahaba radiallahu anhu, they did not used to make another jama'ah, a second and a third jama'ah, after the Prophet ﷺ would finish the salah. So if they come late, they pray alone. The reward, inshallah, is given if a person comes to the masjid. Once he leaves his home, for the intention to make Salat al-Jama'ah, the reward is given, right? But if people come to the masjid and there are 2 or 3 or something, it is not like haram or anything. It's permissible for them to pray Jama'ah, no harm. And the original reward is that the reward is given for 2 is better than 1 and the 3 is better than 2. But if you come to the masjid, you don't have to seek somebody or something like that, because there's the other hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said to someone, after he came late, he said to someone else, "Man minkum idha saddaq ala hada," who among you will give charity to this person, to pray with him Jama'ah. So the matter is debatable, right? But it's better for a person if he comes alone to pray alone if he miss Salat al-Jama'ah. But the point is, it's mandatory for the Muslim to pray Jama'ah in the masjid, حيث ينادى بهن, as Abdullah ibn Mas'ud رضي الله عنه said. There's many hadith, and you probably heard many of them. And of course the hadith of Abdullah ibn Maktub that shows the obligation of praying it in the masjid when he was blind and he didn't have a man to take him or anyone to take him to the masjid. And he said to the Prophet ﷺ, and Medina has dangerous things, that animals or whatever that can hurt him, and he doesn't have anybody to lead him to the masjid. The Prophet ﷺ gave him first the rukhsa, the excuse to pray at home, but then when he was leaving, the Prophet ﷺ asked him the question, أتسمع النداء? Do you listen to the nida? Do you listen to the call of the salah? He said yes. Then the Prophet ﷺ told him, إذا فلبي, and another narration he said, لا أجد لكم الرخصة. That means respond then. That means come to the masjid. Another narration said, I cannot find an excuse for you. Right? So if a person is close to the masjid, if the adhan is being called outside, he would hear the adhan, then it's mandatory for the person to come to the masjid. Some of the Hanabila, they made it a condition for the salah to be even valid. Right? Like Ibn Aqil and others, in which the salah, if it's not done in Jama'ah, is not valid. Right? But this is a weak opinion. The majority of the ulama, that the salah is valid, but the person would bear the sin of not making the salah in Jama'ah. This deen is deen mateen. It's a very strong deen, right? It does not leave you for your desires, right? It is not enough for a person to have wishful thinking. I want to be honest and I want to be dutiful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's it. Human beings are weak. So you find these means of obligations to get us straight, right? It's for our own benefit. We should not take these things as burden or billah. No, this is the way to get ourselves steadfast, so that we will enjoy the deen of Islam. If a person's life like this, 5 times a day in the masjid, making salah in Jama'ah and so on, what's in between becomes so easy by the will of Allah for the person to stay away from what is evil and to do what is good. And under any condition, it's not something that, okay, if you're not a sinner, then you do this. But if you're someone committing sins, then it's an excuse to leave Salat al-Jama'ah in the masjid. There's no such a thing. And that's why when we say all Muslims, all men are supposed to be in the masjid for the salah in Jama'ah. Whether they are thieves or decent people or evil people, it doesn't matter. Everybody should come to the masjid. This is the minimum requirement. And when it happens like this, then this is the means for them to change. Anyway, we'll talk about the fiqh perspective here. So this is the first mas'ala. That Salat al-Jama'ah is fardu ayn, right? على الرجال. يقول وأقلها إمام ومأموم. أقلها, which means the least of it, of Salat al-Jama'ah, is Imam or Ma'mum. There's 2 people, one to lead and one to follow. That's Salat al-Jama'ah is established like this. So only 2 people to establish Salat al-Jama'ah. وَكُلَّمَا كَانَ أَكْثَرْ فَهُوَ أَحَبُّ إِلَى اللَّهِ. And the more there are people for Salat al-Jama'ah, then this is more beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If the Jama'ah is more, then this is more beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وقال صلى الله عليه وسلم صلاة الجماعة أفضل من صلاة الفذ ب27 درجة. متفق عليه. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said صلاة الجماعة أفضل. صلاة الجماعة, the congregation of Salah. أفضل means more virtue, better, and this is أفعل تفضيل. من صلاة الفذ, better than صلاة الفذ. الفذ is the munfarid, is the one person. ب27 درجة, by 27 levels, right? So you can look at one's life from the perspective of the salah. Some people, they live only one life, and some people, they live 27 times multiplied if they would make their salah in Jama'ah. Because things in the Day of Judgment, since we make decisions based on what's coming ahead, in the day of judgment, this is the way that people would look at this dunya, how much reward they came with in the day of judgment. If a person praying at home all of his life, praying alone without jama'ah, even if he is safe from the sin, but what kind of life is this? No provisions whatsoever, very small in provisions, compared to someone that multiplication of that 27 times just for the reward. وقال إذا صليتما في رحالكما ثم أتيتما مسجد جماعة فصليا معهم فإنها لكم نافلة. The Prophet ﷺ said to the two men that came, and after the Prophet ﷺ in Salatul Fajr, he finished the Salah and he used to turn to the people ﷺ. When he turned, he found two people sitting in the back, they didn't make Salah. So the Prophet ﷺ called them and he asked them, are you Muslims? See the question? Someone is not making Salah, are you Muslim? Right? They said yes, O Prophet of Allah. And they said, we prayed in our place. And then we came here. So they already prayed Fajr. Right? So when they came there, they're just waiting for the people to finish. So the Prophet ﷺ told them, إِذَا صَلَّيْتُمَ فِي رِحَالِكُمَا, if you prayed in your place, in your position, ثُمَّ أَتَيْتُمَ مَسْجِدَ جَمَاعَ, then you came to a masjid jama'ah, people are praying in jama'ah, فَصَلِّيَ مَعَهُمْ, pray both of you with them. فَإِنَّهَا لَكُمْ نَافِلَةً, because indeed it is nafila for you. It is an optional salah for you. Even if it's Salat al-Fajr, even if it's Salat al-Fajr. When the time is forbidden for the person to make a salah, but if you come to the masjid and people are praying jama'ah, right, and you already prayed jama'ah in another masjid, right, or whatever, you have to join the jama'ah. You cannot just sit and wait for them. If you enter the masjid, you have to join them, and this will be an optional salah, even if it's a time when it's forbidden, the salah to pray, like Salat al-Fajr or Salat al-Asr. This is a clear hadith, clear statement. And reading with these hadith, of course, it's backed with the sayings of the ulama, of course. The hadith is very direct and very clear. So when we hear something like this, with of course the statements of the ulama, because of to take the benefit of the doubt that maybe we didn't understand, but the matter is so clear, there's nothing abrogated, nothing cancels these rulings, right? Then we should not say, but the opinion of such and such and the opinion of such and such. This is the opinion that we need to follow of the ulama based on these authentic narrations that is so clear. Then he says, وعن أبي هريرة مرفوعا إنما جعل الإمام ليؤتم به. The Prophet ﷺ said, عن أبي هريرة مرفوعا. That means Abu Hurairah is saying this from the Prophet ﷺ. مرفوعا. الرفع is to do something higher. So he's not saying it from his own words. He's saying it, referring it to who is above than him, which is the Prophet ﷺ. إنما جعل الإمام ليؤتم به. The Imam has been made for people to follow. Right? The Imam is the one to be followed. He has been made. What's the position of the Imam? For people to follow him. فَإِذَا كَبَّرَ فَكَبِّرُ. To follow him. You follow someone, that means you wait till you do whatever he's doing, and then you do after. You follow him. You don't do it with him, you don't do it before him. فَإِذَا كَبَّرَ فَكَبِّرُ. If he makes takbir, then you make takbir. وَلَا تُكَبِّرُوا حَتَّى يُكَبِّرُ. This narration says, وَلَا تُكَبِّرُوا حَتَّى يُكَبِّرُ. Do not make takbir till he makes takbir. Even with him, you have to wait till he finishes the takbir. وَإِذَا رَكَعَ فَرْكَعُ. And if he makes ruku', then make ruku'. وَلَا تَرْكَعُوا حَتَّى يَرْكَعُ. Making it more stressed, do not make the ruku' till he makes the ruku'. So do not start the movement while you're standing till he is already in ruku' and he stops moving. Not that once you start moving, then you move behind him, even if you're after him, no. وَلَا تَرْكَعُوا حَتَّى يَرْكَعُ. Do not make ruku' till يَرْكَعُ, till he is in ruku'. If he's moving, he's not in ruku' yet. So he has to be in ruku' and then you start moving. He has to be in sujood and then you start moving. Not that you go by the sound. Allahu Akbar, and then people start rushing. Allahu Akbar, maybe he said it while still standing. He didn't get to sujood yet. So you'd find people making sujood with the Imam sometimes before the Imam. So they have to be with the takbir is finished and the Imam is already moved to the next position. وَإِذَا قَالَ سَمِعَ اللَّهُ لِمَنْ حَمِدَ. And if he says سَمِعَ اللَّهُ لِمَنْ حَمِدَ فَقُولُوا اللَّهُمَّ رَبَّنَا وَلَكَ الْحَمْدُ. Then you say اللَّهُمَّ رَبَّنَا وَلَكَ الْحَمْدُ. So in the Jama'ah, you don't, as a ma'moom, as a follower, you don't say سَمِعَ اللَّهُ لِمَنْ حَمِدَ. The Imam says سَمِعَ اللَّهُ لِمَنْ حَمِدَ. The ma'moom says اللَّهُمَّ رَبَّنَا وَلَكَ الْحَمْدُ. If you pray alone, you say سمع الله لمن حمده ربنا ولك الحمد. وإذا سجد فاسجدوا. And if he makes sujood, then make sujood. ولا تسجدوا حتى يسجد. Again, stressing this means do not make sujood till he makes sujood. وإذا صلى قاعدا فصلوا قعودا أجمعون. If he prays sitting, وإذا صلى قاعدا, if he prays sitting, فصلوا, the plural tense, all of you pray قعودا. قاعدا is one, قعودا is plural. So all of you pray sitting, أجمعون, تأكيد, to stress it, all of you. All of you pray قعودا, all of you, no exception. Which is رواه داود وأصله في الصحيحين. This mas'ala is an important one, and the hadith is clear. If the imam prays sitting, people should follow him. They should not stand while he is sitting. The imam, if he is imam ratib, right, he is the imam of the place, right? That means something might happen to him. He's not able to stand. If he starts the salah from the beginning, from Takbiratul Ihram, sitting because he can't stand, people have to pray behind him sitting, all of them. Right? Even though they can stand. And even though we know in Salatul Fard, that if you pray sitting while you're able to pray standing, the salah is not valid. Right? But this is one of the differences. If you pray in Jama'ah, you have to follow the imam. But if the imam starts the salah standing, and then something happens in the salah and he sat down, then you continue salah standing. You don't follow him in this, as the ulama they say, because this is also what happened to the Prophet ﷺ. Right? So it's only if the imam starts the salah sitting. So I've seen that before, and the imam would make the takbir standing, so that everybody behind him is standing. And then he would sit in ruku' or in sujood. And of course, in some cases, it's better that he would let someone else pray so that people do not get confused. But if he's the imam al-ratib, this is how it is. وَقَالْ يَأُمُّ الْقَوْمَ أَقْرَأُهُمْ لِكِتَابِ اللَّهِ. So here he mentioned many issues, right? With the things following the imam. It's not permissible to be with him. It's not permissible to do things before him. And also in saying Ameen, as we said, you don't say it before the imam, you say it with the imam. Then he says, وَقَالَ يَأُمُّ الْقَوْمَ أَقْرَأُهُمْ لِكِتَابِ اللَّهِ. Another issue. يَأُمُّ الْقَوْمَ أَقْرَأُهُمْ لِكِتَابِ اللَّهِ. From al-imama, the one that leads the people is أَقْرَأُهُمْ لِكِتَابِ اللَّهِ, the one that have more Quran. And أَقْرَأُهُمْ from al-qira'ah, from reciting, the more reciter of the Quran. This means memorizing the Quran. It means good recitation of the Quran, not just memorizing. So the best among them that have more Quran and better recitation, then they should be the imam. فإن كانوا في القراءة سواء, if they are equal in the qira'ah, in the hifz and the recitation and so on, فأعلمهم بالسنة, then the one that has more knowledge of the sunnah of the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام. فإن كانوا في الهجرة سواء, if they were in the hijrah سواء, in the migration, because in another narration, if they were in the sunnah سواء, then أقدمهم هجرة, the one that made hijrah earlier than the other, because that used to be one of the things, the criteria of who's better, more virtue, those who made hijrah before others. Then فأقدمهم سلما أو سنا, right? Then if they are the same, then the one that is older in age, right? The one that is older in age, then he should lead in this case. So the older in age is not first, no, the Quran first, then the knowledge of the Sunnah. And if you say the Hijrah now does not kind of exist to many of the people today, then it's about the age, right? So the third criteria is the age. If there is Imam Ratib, then he is the one to lead. So if the Imam Ratib, the Imam of a masjid or a place, and there's someone behind them more Quran than him, more knowledgeable of the Sunnah, whatever, still the Imam of the masjid is the one to lead, right? Because he's the Imam of the people, right? But if there's no Imam Ratib, or people are trying to choose someone to be their Imam, then this is the criteria. وَلَا يَؤُمَّنَّ الرَّجُلُ الرَّجُلَ فِي سُلْطَانِ. Prophet ﷺ said, no man should lead another man in his sultan, in his authority, or his place of authority, right? His house, his work, he's the owner of a shop or something, and Salah time comes and you need to make Salah, and Salat al-Jama'ah, you should not lead the man that he has authority over a place. He should lead. ولا يقعد في بيته على تكريمته, and he should not sit in his house on his seat or the place that he likes to sit in, right? إلا بإذنه, except by his permission. So if you go to someone's house, you don't go to his, if it's known, of course, and that's why when you go to someone's house, you don't seat yourself. You don't make yourself at home when you sit, right? No, you wait and you ask him, where do you want me to sit, right? Because he knows his house. Maybe in that position, you'll be, the door will be opened and that might expose people behind the door, whatever, reason. So you'll always ask, where do you want me to sit? If he says, sit anywhere, then sit anywhere. And maybe, I don't know if some people have this, he has his own position in his house, right? He doesn't want you to sit in his position or something. So if you find that this is his seat, and sometimes you go to someone in his office, for example, right? Should you go sit in the chair of the person that has the desk? Of course not, unless you ask for permission, right? And this actually one time it happened in front of me. One of the big Shaykh, we were in a masjid, and the Imam of the masjid invited us. I was with the Sheikh, so I was, having the honor to be like that. So he invited both of us to his office in the masjid, right? So the Sheikh, the Imam is the student of the Sheikh, right? So the Sheikh is someone. So when I entered, the Imam insisted that the Sheikh sits in the chair of the desk, right? Not to sit on the other side. So this is a form of respect, right? Because this is his place. So except by his permission. So the same thing, you do not lead the salah even if you are the biggest Sheikh ever in someone's house, unless he would give you the permission, right? And the same thing, the ulama they took from this. If you have, for example, in a Muslim state or so, the leader of the Muslimin, right? He comes to a masjid. Who has the right? The Imam of the masjid, or the governor, or the leader of all Muslims? Of course, the governor or the leader has more rights. So he is the one to lead the salah. And they used to, whenever the leader would lead the people in the salah. Imam al-Muslimin, imamuhum fi salati kadha. Prophet ﷺ was the leader of the Muslims, and he's the leader of them in the salah. Not the way that we see it nowadays. Anyway, it says, وَيَنْبَغِي, are we following? وَيَنْبَغِي أَنْ يَتَقَدَّمَ الْإِمَامِ. What needs to be done is that the Imam يتقدم, and he goes forward. The Imam goes forward and the Ma'mum is behind him. وَأَنْ يَتَرَصَّ الْمَأْمُومُونَ. And the Ma'mumun, the followers, يَتَرَصَّ الْمَأْمُومُونَ. What does التَرَص means? This word is used for bricks or physical things that when you put them together, they look at one thing, as a one thing. So you put bricks together to make a wall. You don't leave spaces between one brick or the other, right? So the line of the salah of the followers, they should look like a wall. You know when people in soccer, when there's a right? They make what do they call it today? Wall, right? And they make sure that there is no space in between, right? So that the goalie is secure, or he's securing a part of his goal, whatever, right? And they don't find themselves being, in any form of uncomfort thing. And they call it a wall, actually, right? So, of course, we don't, this is not our example in life, but the word taras, right? And the Prophet ﷺ would order the people, when he is lining up, say tarasu. And the words that the Prophet ﷺ would say has meanings to it. He doesn't have to actually, every time, to mention the details of what linguistically tarasu means, because they were people understood the Arabic very well. So tarasu is not make the line straight. Making the line straight is just one thing. A taras is something else. Is to make it like a wall. And when the people of knowledge, they get into the details, how close a person should be to the one next to him and so on. So to make it easy for those who might not understand the language, you would find, for example, saying that no cat should go between. This actually has something in some of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. There's a small goat, and the small goat like a cat, like a very small goat, would not be able to go between the people in the saf, in the line, right? If this is how they are close to each other, mashallah. But if a small goat can go in between, that's a problem. Sometimes it's actually a cow can go in between the lines, and the lines you find it very relaxed.
So we don't have to touch if this means.
No, that's what it comes to. Well, there is, the taras means, of course, there has to be touch. But the Prophet ﷺ ordered for that to be with leniency. Leenu ya'idi ikhwanikum. He would say while he's making the row straight, be soft with the hands of your brothers and so on. Don't, make it so tight that you would hurt the one next to you. No, in a soft way. But there's no distance, there's no space in between. And the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, the hadith of Anas radiallahu anhu, that they used to make sure that the shoulders are with the shoulder, and in that narration it says, وَالْقَدَمْ بِالْقَدَمْ, and the foot in the foot, right? But the shoulder comes first, not the foot comes first. And this is the, I don't want to say the everlasting fight with the different, people from different backgrounds. The method is easy, inshallah ta'ala, but you would find some people, they don't pay attention to what's on the ground, which is the foot, and some people, they don't pay attention to the shoulders. You would find some people that make sure that the foot is attached to the foot, but the shoulders, there's a gap in there. This is wrong. And that's why when people widen their legs so much, this is not from the sunnah. A person should stand, his legs is in the same level with his upper side of his body. And that means the whole body has to be shifted to be close. Not that if you find a gap, you would find, stretching the leg. That's wrong. If there's a gap, all of you move. The whole body is shifted towards the person next to you so that you would fill the gap. Not that you would move your leg. Right? And if the bodies are different in shapes, one heavy, one small, this and that, and the shoulder is to the shoulder, right? And nobody is closing the gap between his foot too much, he's standing normally. If there's still gap in there with the foot, that's fine. And this is, you understand what I'm saying? Because sometimes people get upset when this is said. No, the foot has to be touching. Of course the foot has to be touching in a normal way. And if the shoulder and the whole body is next to the whole body, normally the foot will touch the foot, no problem. But for some reason, if it didn't happen, then what's more priority is the shoulder, not the foot. Right? So, أن يترص المأمومون. The مأمومون will have this taras, ويكملون الأول بالأول. And they would complete the first, then the first, and so on. Meaning the first line, and the second line, and so on. They should not leave gaps in the lines in the back, they should always fill the gaps. وَمَنْ صَلَّى فَذًّا رَكْعَةً, whoever prayed alone, ركعة, one ركعة, خَلْفَ الصَّفْ, behind the line, لِغَيْرِ عُذْرٍ عَلَى صَلَاتٍ. If a person alone prayed behind the line, in Salat al-Jama'a of course, without an excuse, he should repeat his salah. If it's a whole entire rak'ah, he prayed alone. This is the mas'ala of a person praying alone behind the line. Because this is Salat al-Jama'a, people are supposed to pray together. So if someone is praying alone, without any excuse, right, then his salah is not valid. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, لَا صَلَاةَ لِمُنْفَرِدٍ خَلْفَ الصَّفْ. There is no salah for the one praying alone behind the line. But if a person comes, and there is no space, and the ma'moom should pay attention that if someone comes, and the people are just standing in a relaxed mood, right, and he kind of push them together, they should do that, so that he would find a space in the line to stand. But if there's no space whatsoever, then in that case he can stand in the second line alone, with no harm, even if a whole rak'ah passes, nobody else came to join him. His salah is valid because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ, fear Allah, be dutiful to Allah to the best of your ability. Right? And the Prophet ﷺ said, إِذَا أَمَرْتُكُم بِشَيْءٍ فَأْتُوا مِنْهُ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. If I order you to do something, do that order to the best of your ability. So here, if there is no excuse, right, then he has to repeat the salah. وقال ابن عباس, and if a person stood behind the line without an excuse and he was alone, but someone came and joined him right away, his salah is valid. وقال ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما, صليت مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, I prayed with the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم ذات ليلة, at one night, and this is an optional salah. which is the night prayer. فقمت عن يساره, I stood next to him on the left side. فأخذ برأسي, he took me from my head, because he was young, right? فمن ورائي, he took me from my head, from behind me. فجعلني عن يميني, he made me on his right side. متفق عليه. And he did not say this is the position of the Imam and the Ma'mun, there's only two, Imam and Ma'mun, is to stand on the right side of the Imam and to be next to him, right? فجعلني عن يميني, and not to be behind him a little bit. Many people, they would be like taking a step behind. There's no evidence of this. It's to be next to him, the same line. But the Ma'mun, of course, the follower is not to go forward, but to be on the same line with him. This is the same thing when women, if they pray Jama'ah, they pray in the same line. There's no woman Imam to be ahead of them. She would stand with them in the same line. So if women are praying Jama'ah together, this is another mas'ala. It's permissible for women to pray Jama'ah. The correct opinion that it's not makruh or anything, because some said it's makruh for women, but there's no evidence of that. But instead, I mean, when they pray together in Jama'ah, the Imam woman, of the woman, she should stand in the middle of them. Then the next مسألة, وقال صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا سمعتم الإقامة فامشوا إلى الصلاة وعليكم السكين. If you heard the إقامة, this is one of the etiquettes of صلاة الجماعة. If you heard the إقامة فامشوا إلى الصلاة, walk to the صلاة وعليكم السكين. Walk to the صلاة, and on you is tranquility, right? This is on you, meaning that it's part of you. You're walking with tranquility and peace. You're not running, you're not rushing, because you would tend to run when you hear the Iqamah, tend to rush, so that you can catch Takbiratul Haram and so on. Don't run, don't rush, even if you would miss the whole Salah, right? Because the order here, وَعَلَيْكُمُ السَّكِينَ. Even if you miss the whole Salah, yes. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ said, وَعَلَيْكُمُ السَّكِينَ, walk with tranquility. وَالْوَقَارِ, and waqar is respect. You're walking someone that is respected, not someone that is not respecting himself. وَلَا تُسْرِعُوا, stating it more clearly, do not be in haste, do not run. فَمَا أَدْرَكْتُمْ فَصَلُّوا وَمَا فَتَكُمْ فَأْتِمُوا. فَمَا أَدْرَكْتُمْ فَصَلُّوا, what you أدركتم, that means what you got from the salah, that what you reach, then make the salah, pray it. And what you missed, فَأَتِمُوا, complete it. And the word فَأَتِمُوا here gives you the opinion which a person would make up what he missed in the salah as a way of completing the salah. So when you enter the salah, this is the first thing in the salah for you. So if you enter the second rak'ah, this is the first rak'ah for you. And the second and the third, then you get up and you make the fourth rak'ah for you. This is فَأَتِمُوا means, that means you're completing, right? So the fourth rak'ah for you, that means you would pray, you decide only Surah Al-Fatiha. Right? If you come in Salat al-Maghrib in the third rak'ah, so you have two rak'ah left. You stay with the Imam for the tajahud, you say the full tajahud. The Imam makes salam, you stand up, you make salat, this is rak'ah, this is the second rak'ah for you, it's loud. Right? And Fatiha and Surah. And then you sit down for the middle tajahud for you. And then you get up for the third rak'ah, silent, and then you sit for the tajahud. So you make tajahud for every rak'ah like this. Right? So, وَمَا فَتَكُمْ فَأْتِمُوا. وفي الترمذي, this is the last مسألة in this chapter, إذا أتى أحدكم الصلاة والإمام على حال فليصنع كما يصنع الإمام. If the Imam, and this hadith, some talked about its authentication, but its the opinion is very clear like this. It's the correct thing to do. If any one of you comes to the Salah and the Imam in whatever hal, whatever situation he's in, then فليصنع كما يصنع الإمام, he should do like what the Imam do. He should not wait, meaning for the Imam to stand up for the next rak'ah. You come with the Imam in sujood, some people will find him standing, waiting till the Imam gets up. No, don't wait. Join the Imam in whatever position he's in. Right? If you get him in the ruku', you get the rak'ah. If after the ruku', sit. And as one of the ulama, they said that maybe this sajda that you make sujood will be the reason for you to enter the Jannah and to be saved from hellfire. So why should you wait? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most wise, destined for you to be standing in the line when they are making sujood. That means it's meant for you maybe to make that sujood. So you should not wait. This is what is mentioned here in this chapter. Of course there are many many issues with Salat al-Jama'ah, but this is just some of the basic masail. And if you have any questions or concerns, please go ahead.